Thank you for listening to The Afternoon Pint. We are an independent podcast and we need your support. Please take a moment to hit that like, follow, and share button. Email us if you have an idea or suggestion for the show. Please send your feedback. We'd love to hear from you. Cheers!
Cheers! Yo!
Welcome to The Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I'm Matt Conrad. And
I'm Mike Fournier.
Mike Fournier. Good to meet you,
Mike.
sir.
Yeah.
Good to meet you too.
Yeah. Intelligence Operator 230. Tell me a little bit of who that is.
That's my trade, intelligence operator,
Yeah.
and 230 was my intelligence number.
And intelligence, what are we talking here? Canadian?
Canadian intelligence, military.
Yeah.
You know, some of it is tactical intelligence, ground forces. You're out in the field with the troops and you're providing intelligence to battalion and brigade headquarters. The other side of it is more on in the headquarters type of side at a higher strategic level.
Yep.
So, and that covers a broad range of specialties. And an operator first, and eventually I became an analyst after going through training. So now I'm sitting in a headquarters analyzing stuff, writing reports and that. But by and large, an operator.
In layman's terms, like what's the mission statement of your occupation as an operator, intelligence operator?
There is no mission statement. All it is regulated by where you go serve.
Yeah.
So if you serve in a brigade, then you're going to do soldier stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you serve at an Air Force base, you're going to do air stuff, jets,
Right.
jet fighters, mission planning, helicopter stuff. So it just depends on where you're at. You follow their edict, what they're supposed to do, and you support the commander. Doesn't matter where you go, you always support the commander. If we're going to go on a mission somewhere, then he's going to lay out the parameters, what is it that he requires, and every department is responsible for providing him with what he wants. Logistics, they want to know trucks, gas, ammunition, food, all that stuff.
You want to know the logistics of the opposition.
I want to know what the enemy's logistics capabilities
Right.
are.
Yes.
That's my job.
100%.
But, the commander has his mission. He gives everyone their assignment, their direction. And that is what regulates the intelligence. What's the commander directing us to do?
So what decades did you work as an operator?
I started in 1980 and retired in 97.
Okay.
Was out for 10 years, and I went back in to go to Afghanistan, so I did another 7 years.
Why did you get into this occupation?
I was in the Navy for a while, and I got bored to tears.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was...
What kind of made you originally join the military, though? Was there like a particular calling or anything that inspired you to join the military in the beginning?
My father was in the military at one point, and my grandfather was in, artillery.
Yeah.
Served in the First War.
It's a real military family, then.
So we basically had been, yeah. Now, my great-grandfather never served in the military. They were lumberjack and trappers.
Yeah.
So, it was fairly new in our family. But before them, there were some people that served in Canada to defend Quebec against the American invasion in 1775.
Yeah.
I had ancestors that were there.
Wow.
So we have been a military family, but there was a spot of about 3 generations where it wasn't.
Right.
They were
Yeah,
trappers,
yeah.
they were whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was always in my blood, I think, to be one. And so when I joined, I ended up going in the Navy because I went, oh, look at that high pay field those guys are paying. I'm going there. So I ended up as a stoker in the Navy. So
Right on.
yeah,
And then, so you joined the Navy. How long were you in the Navy?
9 years.
9 years?
Yeah.
And then it got too boring for you, eh?
Yeah, things changed. We were doing on fishery patrols. And, you go out and it's like 3 weeks of bobbing around, that's it. Nothing major. The most, before I remustered to intelligence 1980, in the spring of 1980, the most exciting thing happened. The Maurice de Gagne was sinking in a super big storm. And there was an emergency alert. We got the call. Naval headquarters sent us there, Marcom, to save them.
Yep.
So we got on location, and it was a hell of a storm. I describe it in my book how you're literally walking on walls. That's how friggin' bad it was.
Yep.
And so we got on location, and I was coming off shift, and a bunch of us went up top where we weren't supposed to because of the storm, but we went up top anyway.
Right.
And we were looking at the ship. She's listing, and she's like really in bad shape. So, and it's not a big ship, but she's rough. So I go back down with another guy down to the main control room, and now the engineer is starting to assemble a rescue crew. So because the captain wants options, so we'll have a rescue crew. And some of the things that we used to do in the ships, we were the damage control people. We're sitting on the deck waiting for the call. We had all our gear. Finally, the captain comes on. He says, "Cancel us. We're going to send a diver over to start putting people in the harness." Sea King went over, and the diver started putting the people in the harness to haul them away. It was like, I think there was like 18 people, if I remember right, 14 people. I think they did like 3-4 trips, and then there was the diver and the one guy left. We're up midship and we're watching, and she's really going, and suddenly, like, the guy didn't want to go. You could see that he was refusing to go be put in a harness, and we're going, what the hell?
What's wrong with you? Yeah.
So, anyway, suddenly the ship hits a dip or goes down, whoosh. And then when we see it again, he's like running for the friggin' harness to get put into it.
Wow.
And they get hauled up. Our diver's the last one off. He gets hauled up. We go over back to the ship, and we all watch it sink.
Oh, wow.
That Morris guy sank about 15 minutes later, whatever. And
what was the Morris Grand? What kind of ship was it?
it's just a cargo ship.
Cargo ship?
Yeah,
Yep.
some of this, it was carrying railroad ties.
Okay.
And the storm had cut it loose, and it cut off all of the upper deck fittings, so the water was sinking into the compartments. So anyway, we're like, holy shit. We all eventually go down to our mess deck, and there's the diver. He was one of our messmates, sitting there. He's having a smoke. He's having a beer, and he's not saying a word. So none of us disturbed him. We just watched him. Looks at us. He goes, "Bet you want to know what happened?" Yeah. And somebody said, "So who's that guy at the end that didn't want to go in the harness?" He said, "Oh, that was the captain." And somebody said, "Are you fucking kidding?" He says, "No, I kid you not, matey." He says, "It was the captain. He had some idea of going down with the ship, but when we went, took that dip, changed his mind." So,
I imagine.
Yeah. Hislop was his name. He got the Medal of Bravery for that, Star of Courage.
And I'm sorry, I have to ask. You said that was boring, so you got into the...
No, up to that point. I mean, I had already, put my application to transfer.
It's like, this thing's crazy to me.
I gotta tell you though, as much as I do believe that we should always have a strong military because we need to protect our sovereignty, I don't hate the fact that maybe you found it boring, because that means there's peace if you're finding it boring.
Yeah, it was
right?
quite period for the Navy, and then
Yeah.
But then I in the September I was over in now the intelligence school.
Yeah.
So I'd left the bilges of the engine rooms and that, and I'd moved over to the classroom and learning intelligence.
Day one intelligence school. I mean, did you have to tell your wife, or like, how do you?
Yeah, it's like Fight Club, where it's like you don't talk about it.
Does it come like a secret?
She already knew I was
right away.
She already knew I was remustering.
Yeah,
that's what we call it, remustering.
Remustering.
She already knew I was changing trades.
How much could you tell her right off the cuff, or does there come a point of secrecy right away?
Well, you know, there's some things you can't say.
Yeah. I hope you're enjoying a pint with us. We'll be right back. Your dream home does not have to be just a dream. Today's show is brought to you by Camilla Najat of Exit Realty Metro. Camilla is the realtor who knows how to get things done. Buying or selling? Go to afternoonpint.ca and we will help with a personal introduction. That's afternoonpint.ca/Camilla to make your dreams become a reality.
And just, so you generalize conversation. Mm-hmm. And my wife, fortunately for me, was never the type of person that wanted to know, so what'd you do today? Tell me about your day. What did you learn? There was none of that stuff.
Right on.
She's just like this book.
Yeah.
She complained I was so many hours in the room writing. I'm getting bored. I want to go somewhere. Yeah. I'm writing this book. So she was never one of the pry or stick her nose into something that she's typical blue noser. Sometimes some things I would feel a need to tell, like we were on a course learning about how the KGB and the Soviet system, they try to compromise you, they try to entrap you.
Right.
And we got a lot of training in that area, how they do it. Read some stories about some actual things that happened to learn from. And so I told her, I said, so today we learned, you need to know that we learned about this today. Mm-hmm. And she looked at me, she goes, why do I want to know that?
Okay, so she was just, it didn't hit her radar. That's cool.
I should just tell you that this stuff happens.
Interesting.
And she goes, okay. And it was it. I went, well, you need to know that if ever happened to me, because it could, I just want you to know that I love you, and I would go see my boss. I would tell you about it, then I would go see my boss and tell them, and let the chips fall where they may, and that's it.
So can you talk about that a little bit? What does compromise mean in this time of a big compromise by the KGB, where you have to tell your wife that you're saying goodbye?
It comes down to, I've been involved in a few incidents where I had to intervene, or someone tried to compromise me in Warsaw, in the Soviet days.
Yeah.
So it's so I had firsthand experience with it. So what happens is this: if the enemy, the Warsaw Pact in this case it was at the time, they want to achieve a certain objective. Like they want to accomplish something.
Yeah.
Then they decide, how are we going to do this? So depending on the target, the person they want to compromise, or they want the information, so they'll figure out, how do we get that information? Oh, this guy works in that department. And they'll start seeing who has weaknesses that can be exploited. And then when they find that one person, it could be debt, it could be they like to mess around on her wife,
right,
and keep it secret, stuff like that. It could be anything,
right?
Or they have a drug problem or whatever. They'll target that person, and they'll work on that person for as long as necessary, and then they'll drop the hammer. Hey, listen, I need a favor. My boss, was looking for this. Maybe you can help me. So you might think, oh yeah, okay, sure, I'll help you. You're a friend of mine. We've known each other for a while now. You're okay.
Yeah.
You don't realize that guy, he's a spy, and he's out to nail you. If you watch the TV show The Americans, that is excellent way of how compromise is done, how they try to get information from people and they set things up. It's really, really well done in research. It's very, very good as far as that goes. But that's how they basically get you. So one time we went on a CAS reconnaissance. The CAS means Canadian Air Sea Transportable Brigade. And our job, I was with the Special Service Force, our job was we would go to North Norway, and we would hold defensive positions. The Soviets were invading. We would hold until NATO came and relieved us. So we would go there and do reconnaissance, go from town to town, do different things. And we were in this one little town in Norway, and it was a long day. Everyone was a little tired. So we went to a pub next door, this little hotel we stayed in. And everyone's relaxing, having a beer, shooting the shit. And then this one guy, we go in there, he's already gone to lunch. And we go, what the hell's going on with him? So turns out his wife had called him, and we didn't have cell phones in those days.
Right.
So it was like she called the hotel, and he got to call her back, and she said, I'm leaving you for so-and-so. And, I've been wanting to for a while, but this is a good time for me to leave. While he's over there, he just lost it. Like he got depressed, angry, got drunk, all this stuff. So everyone's kind of keeping an eye out for him.
Yeah.
And at some point, I'm watching for him because he's in the room next to mine. So I keep an eye out for him. So I seen this. I spotted this guy in black leather, all typical KGB outfit. And I saw him kind of looking at someone and talking, but I couldn't see who he was talking to. But he just had that look that you go, that guy is up to something.
Yeah.
And then so I turn away, shoot the shit. I think I went to the bathroom, and I come back, and there's this blonde girl, an average-looking girl, and this guy, creep, sitting right across from them at the table. And so I'm going, and the girl's hanging all over my buddy, and he seems to kind of like the attention, and I'm going, oh, this is not good. So, my intelligence brain started working.
Right.
And especially the counterintelligence side of our training. So I said, it's not good. So I decided I'm going to go check in on him, see how he's doing. So I go, the guy's sitting by himself. So I come in and I give him a little body check with my body as I slide into the spot next to him, knock him over. He looks at me all annoyed, and I'm kind of smiling at him. And I say, hey, my name is Mike. I went to shake his hand. He just looked at my hand and he didn't do anything. Oh, all right. So I said, Chappie, who are your friends? Introduce me. Oh, yes, I don't remember their names, but they're my friends. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the girl's like all over him. And so after a while, I said, you got to get to bed because tomorrow's an early day. We got to get on the road early. And he gives me hell for, don't be such a, don't be such a dad, leave me alone. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So I got up, went back to the bar with the other guys and started shooting this shit. At some point, you look around and he's gone. But he's gone and the girl's gone. No one noticed.
Right.
And then one guy said, oh, yeah, he left with that girl as some lucky guy. And then somebody else said, I don't think he's any kind of shape to have any fun tonight. So I kind of left it at that. Mm-hmm. So after a while, time for me to go to bed too. I hit the rack and I'm hearing this giggling and laughing next door. It's very thin walls in those hotels. And so he left the door unlocked, which was good. And I go in. Here's the compromise part. Mm-hmm. She's in her bra and panties. Mm-hmm. She's draped all over him, leg up on him, and her head on his shoulder, her arm across his chest. Like, he doesn't even know what's going on. He's, like, out of it. Yeah. And there's the creep sitting in the chair at the table just near the bed, and he's watching. And she's watching him. So right away, boom, they saw me come in, and I looked over at that girl. I said, you get fucking dressed right now. Get out of that bed. She's looking at the guy. I said, out right now. And the guy went to stand up, and I moved him real close, real fast on him. I said, you sit down. If you stand up again, I'm going to knock you over this table into next week. So shut up and sit right there. So anyway, she got out, and they're all like wondering. They're talking Russian. Yeah. And so, I stand to the side and went out the door, hit the bricks. And so she left. He left too, and he gave me this dirty look. I looked at her like, come on, really? Get out of here. So, and Chappie goes, where are my friends? He's like, I said, they're not your friends, Chappie. I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Lock the door, go back to sleep. So,
my gosh.
Oh, yeah, I said, that was my first time of dealing with a compromise attempt on someone. So it was quite the interesting evening.
So the story about the wife, do you know if that was planted or if that actually was the case when the wife called the hotel and said, I'm leaving?
They got separated. So the next day, and I told what happened, he thanked me, says, he says, you saved my career. Wow. He says, wow. And then I found out a year or so later, and we got to chatting, and apparently he got back with his wife and everything was fine. So it was a nice ending for him. Mm-hmm. And, it's typical of like any soldier would do that for another soldier. Mm-hmm. You step in and, stand up for them, and when they need it. Right. Because you make the difference no matter what. You may not understand what difference you're making right away, but you know that you got to stand there for your buddy.
Was this guy also in intelligence though?
No. He was in the artillery battalion.
Okay.
He was one of the operations officers.
So I was going to say, like, if he's in intelligence and he's getting compromised, it just goes to show you that even the best trained to not be compromised can also get compromised. But
and and it's easy to happen. I mean, it was attempted on me in Warsaw, and behind the Iron Curtain. I was active in a lot of counter surveillance stuff, counterintelligence stuff. And did a lot of that work. And then when it was actually happening to me, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is happening? Really? This is really happening? I didn't see it coming until it actually happened. Thankfully, we had rules to live by. Yeah. So we had these rules called no fraternization rule. You were not allowed to visit Polish citizens, Polish workers in the embassy. You weren't allowed to mingle with them. Mm-hmm. No fraternization with anybody. So the next morning, I go see my colonel. He's having a smoke at the back garage door.
Yeah.
And I told him what happened. He looks at me. And he goes, okay. And how it started is she was babysitting for us. And she's complained about, I don't have a ride home. My friend called, the car broke down. The buses aren't running. And my wife says, give her a lift home. And I'm going, no. So trying to tell her, so I can't do that. I'm not allowed.
Right.
But she insisted.
Yeah. I hope you're enjoying a pint with us. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, it's Chip here from Don't Overthink It, Chip. Big shout out to the Afternoon Pint Media team for managing my content creator career. If your business needs support, big or small, hit up Afternoon Pint and learn more about our reputation for boosting foot traffic with curated storytelling for your business.
Yeah, okay, so I took her home. It's on the way home. It was the second time I took her home. First time was okay, chat, Canada, the weather, bullshit. And it was okay. I still reported that to the colonel, so he knew. But this time was a little heavier. So
taking a babysitter home, this is pretty. This is normal for most people.
She worked in the embassy.
Crazy.
And so she was an employee. And so, all the embassy workers, they hired some of the women, a couple of the women, to babysit for them. So we're driving home, and then her tone changed. I don't know if you guys experienced this before, but you're having a chat, and suddenly the tone changes. The voice drops, and things get a little bit mellow, and you notice it. You go, okay.
Yeah.
What's going on? So as she starts to talk about how miserable her life is, she's a single woman living in this apartment, and men are always knocking on her door wanting to come in and have a coffee or take care of her. And she says, if I did any of that, their wives would kill me. They find out that would be it. So it's miserable. It's terrible. Oh, that's awful. Try not get involved in the conversation.
Sure, yeah.
And so it's like we get to drop her off at the apartment building, and she looks at me, and she's really, her face has changed. She's looking at me. She's not really pretty. She might have been pretty like 15 years before.
Okay.
Straw red dyed hair, shit like that. It was like, and she had a sexy way about her, but she looks at me, she says, would you like to come in for a tea or a coffee? Boom. At that moment, my shit friggin' left my body. I went, holy shit. So it's like, I looked at her and calm as hell, went, no, I'm not.
Right.
I'd rather not, She goes, it's okay. You can park right over there. There's an empty spot. And I have diplomatic plates on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like that's going to fly. As soon as I go into her apartment, the secret police will be around taking pictures. Who knows what's in your apartment? I don't know. But I said, no.
Right.
I'm going to go home, make sure the kids get to bed, and I'll be fine. Thanks very much for the invite. And she looks at me, she says, okay, I'll let you get away with it this time. And as I'm driving off, I'm going, what the fuck did she mean? I'm going to get away with it this time.
Crazy.
So I told the colonel the next day, and he goes, don't get her to babysit for you anymore.
I mean, it sounds quite cinematic. Do you feel like in your own mind, like when dealing with intelligence, and I really do want to read this book that you've just put out. When's the book come out, by the way?
March 30th.
The book released on March 30th, so it's available now. And where can people get it?
Yeah, you can get it on Freesome Press, Indigo, and Amazon.
Amazing. Yeah.
All you got to do is do a search on Intelligence Operate 230.
230.
It'll pop up.
Awesome. And we'll have a link for it in this episode, too. So if you're listening and you want to check out this book, I know there's tons of these stories in there, right? You told me another one. We might tell that one, too, before the show's over. You told me when we first met last in December. We might get into that.
Okay, sure. Be happy to.
What's one of the biggest revelations you really had about the Cold War at this time? You were there like on a whole different side of it. People were actually fearing nuclear war at the time at home.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
When I got assigned to go to Warsaw and I went on my training,
Yeah.
there was an American intelligence major, and he had wandered too close to the East Berlin fenced off area.
Yeah.
Signs everywhere, all that stuff. He got shot. So, for me and my training partner was on the course. He was going to Moscow. We were doing all the tradecraft for a year. It was an eye-opener. We never did find out the story. Even at our level, we never really knew the ins and outs, the bones of the story.
Yeah.
But when you kind of read generally, I think even now you could read generally about it, is that he didn't believe that anyone would shoot him. So he kind of wandered in too close. Apparently, a soldier yelled or something, and
That was it.
he may or may not have heard him, and he wandered closer, bang, shot.
Yeah.
So, your takeaway from that is, okay, I don't know if he was arrogant and he thought, going to do it anyway.
Right.
The takeaway is simply, don't go where you're not supposed to go in front of other soldiers watching. Mm-hmm. And they warn and they yell at you, back off. I mean, while I was there, I went in a lot of places I wasn't supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of times I could have been shot. So, I had, one time an AK leveled at me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get
geez.
the fuck out of here. Woo.
Wow.
When we went beetled it, that was a whole different sort of hurry up and get the hell out of there moment. It was a really holy fuck moment.
Yeah.
And then there was another time I went to take photos of an airfield, a short grass runway. And right across the street was a guard tower. That's a chapter in the book, is there, sniper in the tower.
Yeah.
And so it was an army garrison.
Yeah.
And when I was going and looking, I came back, I saw it. I paid attention to it, and I'm looking for silhouette or something in the tower or something. I didn't see anything, so I'm going, okay. And I go out and I tell my partner, it's your turn. So he goes off and he takes pictures for his country. He's from another country.
Yeah.
And as I'm watching, somebody shows up you can see a silhouette, someone popped up into the tower. He couldn't really tell what they were doing because it was sort of a worn kind of plastic
It was
glass.
taking a nap until you were out there doing your photo shoot.
Probably. So what the hell's going there?
Yeah.
So, when he was there and Buddy was done, I had already taken pictures of this sign on a post.
Oh, wow.
And he's looking at me saying, what are you taking a picture of that for? Oh, it goes in my report. He says, what does it say? I took a Polish course, so part of my training said, no trespassing on pain of death.
Huh.
The guy was so comical. I mean, he had no training, and he was a real handsy-pansy kind of guy, and his face went white. He looked at me. Are you kidding? I said, no. I said, here's the word for trespassing. No trespassing. Death. There's a tower. Let's get the fuck out of here. So we got a truck and away we went.
Yeah. Wow.
Every time we left a location, you always go in a hide.
Right.
So we go in a hide, wait for however long you felt you should wait. Camouflaged, everything you're camouflaged, you're out of the sight. And when you think it's clear, it could be half an hour later, you go to the next target.
So as Operator 230, where do you feel you really helped stop what was happening in Russia? Or what do you think your key contributions were?
I was only one little straw in the pile. I mean,
Right.
There was a lot of other colleagues of mine in the other countries doing similar stuff.
Yeah.
And so we never shared what we did because that's compartmentalization. That's
Right.
what, you don't talk about.
But you're talking about
But I am now, yeah.
Before surveillance, before we had, many ways to look at people, before the internet. You guys literally all had to go in the field in different ways to map out this intelligence.
And even if I say you were my colleague, say in Hungary,
Right.
and we ran into each other after our tour back in Canada. Mm-hmm. We weren't allowed to talk to each other about what we did.
See, information got passed up, not sideways, right?
So it's
so the only people who would really know it are the people who are collecting the information. Right?
And during our training, we would get, oh, by the way, this happened. our guy was he's on the street and he got followed by secret police and blah, blah, blah. So those things are reported. It was part of our training to know how to detect and escape surveillance and that kind of a thing. So, so we were really well trained in that area. So it saved my bacon a few times.
Imagine.
Mostly from being arrested, detained, and sent back to Canada, embarrassment to the country, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, it is really good, serious training, and it really worked well.
Would you say, like, I mean, people think of obviously, like, when they think of like being a spy, everything gets like, there's glamour in Hollywood and things like that. Would you say like proper intel and spying is maybe more boring than most people probably really think?
Yeah, it is. I write in the prologue of the book, I say, and the job is real world. There are no guns, no fancy cars, and no pretty assistant to help you through the mission. No. It's just you.
You.
Period.
Yeah.
And you just do your job, and it's boring that way. It's never boring in a sense of doing the job.
Yeah.
Because your radar is on all the time.
And the realization of these global threats that are around every day that many people don't see.
The global threats don't affect you there.
Yeah.
What affects you there is what's happening in that country, that city.
But it must be a very isolating career.
Yes, it is. We don't have very many friends.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can't really talk. If you have friends, like say you're back in Canada, you're not on mission or anything. I mean, you can't really talk about your job, right? You may not even be able to tell people what you do.
I mean, now it's different because I put this book through the Department of National Defense for their review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the National Securities Act, Secrecy Act, make sure that everything's fine. And they sent it back to me twice. I had to cut out like sections, like a whole page and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Or I couldn't use certain terminology. Or I couldn't use this person's nationality.
Okay.
Like anything that had to do, like the partner I had on the ground, I couldn't use his nationality.
Huh. Intelligent. Okay.
Yeah, I could only say NATO partner. That's all I could say, NATO.
Okay. Yep.
I couldn't say he was from such and such a country. Like
well, I mean, because I think back, there was one time I remember. So Mike and I work in the insurance world, and I remember I was talking to somebody. This is back when I worked in personal lines, and I was just trying to, like, in the personal lines, if you get, depending on what your career is, you can get discounts in your home and auto insurance. And I asked the guy, I was like, so what do you do for work? And I'll never forget. I was like, what do you do for work? There may be discounts depending on where you work. He's like, I can't tell you what I do. And I was like, really? I was like, really? I was like, haha. And he's like, no, I can't tell you what to do. And I, like, literally, I was like, oh. He's like, just move on. And I was like, okay. Like, I thought it was.
I never, back in the day, it was the same for me. It wasn't such, I can't tell you what I do, I have to shoot you.
Yeah.
It was more of like, I'm in the military.
I do that when they ask for my email at the grocery store, for the receipt. I say, no, I can't tell you. I can't tell you my email.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in special ops.
Yeah.
So nowadays it's a bit different because now you do hear things about like JTF2, the commandos, that kind of. You do hear of them, their names.
Right.
So and now you can see their names. Interviews.
Yeah.
There was so and so. They wear their badge. So it's not like they're incognito now. It used to be in the day, but not so much now. It became more open. Mm-hmm. Just don't talk about what it is that you do. Doing, your missions you do. Yeah. You can't talk about the training. You can't talk about operations. You can't talk about any of that stuff, obviously. But it's not a big deal. No one's going to have a kitten if you say, oh, I'm with special ops.
Right.
No one's going to shoot you.
Well, I mean, and it was probably like, we have so much information today, so it's easier to get.
I think I'm going to put this on.
Sure, yeah, it's a little louder in here. Yeah. And I'm going to turn down our volume here. So your headset number 2. So I'm just going to turn you down a bit so it's not too loud.
That's good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's. I find maybe it's a little different today versus before because there's so much information that you can get today. Like you can look at anything on a satellite and everything, right? And sometimes on Google.
Yeah.
But like. The Cold War, because it wasn't an actual physical war, it was really fought with you guys. Like, intelligence was a big part of it, right?
Spy versus spy.
Yeah. Because I mean, where no bullet was really fired for the most part, no bomb was dropped. It was really a race to kind of see where people were. I mean, right? The race to the moon was that, right?
Yeah, there are movies that are exciting to watch.
Yeah.
You see them and you see the character actor, the main actor, they're like invincible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're going through about 30 friggin' bad guys like nothing. And I'm a Hapkido master, and I fought a lot in my life, for real, when I was younger.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at that, I'm going, good thing it's choreographed, because,
Right.
You don't want to get too far.
yeah, because you would be overwhelmed by just numbers. And
Taking
it
out
would
the
be
first
hard.
time, the second time.
So, and the acrobatics that they do,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I kind of look at it and go, probably not something I would do. I'd probably run like hell, real fast. The other way. So,
Right.
That's intelligence.
Yeah. So I don't know. They're fun to watch.
Oh, yeah,
They're good
yeah.
to watch and that. But there's some parts where, like, a soldier would look at it and go, no, that would never happen.
Right.
Or you don't do it that way. So we look at it the same way. And I know some of my colleagues used to talk about, did you see that movie? Fuck of shit.
So less like John Wick, more like Indiana Jones running from the boulder.
Yeah, John Wick's exciting to watch because it's pure fighting and movement and just going flow one to the next, and so you go, okay, if you had drunk a case of Red Bull, maybe you'd probably get away with that. But you've got to take it with a grain of salt. It's just entertainment. That's really all it is.
We have a lot of people of all ages that listen to this show. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the psychology of intelligence work. What type of people are a good fit for this type of work?
That's a good
would you
question.
say?
It starts at the first course.
Yeah.
At least it did in my day. And we were told right from the start, this is the hardest course you're ever going to take, ever in the military. He says, not all of you are going to pass.
Right.
Because it's just so intense. So it's pressure.
Yeah.
So first thing to do is pressure. And then it's the learning curve, the workload.
Right.
We literally in those days were known as walking, talking encyclopedias.
Yeah.
We had to memorize.
You guys had a crazy memory retention.
We had to remember every little detail of everything.
Yeah.
T-55 tank, how far it goes, 450 meters. How many shells does it carry? 40 shells in the turret, and the 100 millimeter. Here's the range, stuff like that. When your commander came and asked you, I'm facing a tank regiment,
Right.
T-55s. Tell me what's the danger, how capable are the capabilities and that.
Yeah.
And you would know from satellite, from whatever, that they had extra fuel tanks, they had this and that.
Right.
You would know their support, all the support they had, logistics.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to figure out by measuring and that how much ammo they had for the tanks and everything. And then you'd be able to tell them, this is their capability and this is how far they can go and where they're going to go. And from that, we would know their objective. He would go off and he would do his planning to take them out. So, they had to. That was the thing.
So that really shows you, though, what the type. So it's a memory. I mean, how about like with this compromising stuff you thought of? I mean, you have to have a real element of self-control in your mind, I think, to not succumb to the fear that's in this job, or the fear of a family getting hurt or yourself getting hurt. I mean, do you feel like is that where some people fail, or do you feel like it becomes a huge component, a risk of the job?
My family was with me in Poland, and all the people that worked there, their families went with them.
Yeah.
Foreign affairs staff, everybody. So that was to normalize your environment, to come home to your family, have supper or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
And go on outings and that. So one of the things you never expect is to have your family targeted.
Right. Yeah.
That would be the fear.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the thing,
Well,
yeah.
it's not a fear
Yeah.
until it happens.
Right.
You don't think about it
You don't think about it.
until it happens.
Okay.
And then when the first kernel drops, you better pay attention.
Yeah.
And then you see the second, third step.
Right.
And then you know there's shit happening, and you got to. So now, on this, in your own head, that really messes you up, because now you know they're in trouble. Like there's a danger. Like I told my wife, I said, "This is what's going on. This is what I think is happening," and at first she didn't believe me. No, nobody would do that. You know. I said, we're not talking about the nice people of Poland. I mean, these people are nice.
Yes.
We're talking about secret police here. Can do anything
Yes.
to do their job.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're part of it. So it had gone beyond me. It took me years to think about this. Why did they do that? Target my family. They didn't hurt them. They just psychologically messed them up and toyed with them and scared them, that kind of thing. Scared my kids. My oldest was 12 years old. It was that kind of thing as a father. You really get anxious about, you get worried, you're not there to look after them, but they're in danger. And so it really tears you apart. And then it's because of the job. They couldn't catch me red-handed.
Yeah.
They could never catch me. I was always messing them up big time. If I had a target somewhere and it was a bit of a distance, I would leave at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
with my partner. My hamby-bamby partner is like, what, that early? Yes, we're hitting the road. And we go.
Yep.
And nobody's around. Everyone's sleeping. And they'll show up around, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in front of my door, wait for me to come out and be waiting.
Right.
Waiting. I'm already gone. So that would upset them, I guess. They'd be looking for me. They had no idea where I was going.
Yeah.
Because when we were planning the missions, we would be in my office with the map laid out, and we'd say, okay, tomorrow we're going to be here.
Yep.
And we're going to go down this road, and we're going to go to this target.
Yep.
We'll do our thing, go to hide, then we'll go to your target over here.
Yeah.
So they would never know where we were to start with. So it was like,
Brilliant.
yeah, it's always that kind of a talk.
But that frustrated the secret police.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we go to a place, we're an hour early, let's take a nap, sleep in the cars, the trucks, it camouflage. And then we'd hit the road and hit our target.
Yep.
So there was times like that, and so they couldn't catch us. They even found us in one town. We stayed overnight. The next day, we were going to my next target across the other side of the country, and there's a secret police guy. He's having a smoke, and he's leaning against the car. And he's smiling.
Oh, yeah.
And I told my idiot partner, I said, we have a flat tire. You could tell the roof, the car is more canted.
Yep.
And he goes, what? You have a flat tire? I said, yeah, we have. Look at the roof. We got a flat tire. As we approached, sure enough, there was a flat tire.
Right.
And the guy's across from the car looking at us, and I'm looking at him. So I couldn't believe what I just heard next from my partner. What are we going to do? I'm looking at him. I'm thinking, are you kidding me right now? Really? I looked. I said, we changed the tire. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And he goes, I said, you got a spare tire in this thing that works? And the last time we had a flat tire. A spare tire was useless. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we changed it. Changed it about 15, 20 minutes. It was very fast. And the guy leaves and we leave. So in a chapter of the book, I talk about there's always a plan B.
Right.
So to get to my target, I follow a different plan, expecting that they would think I was going to go one certain route. No, I went all over the fucking country, and I went to my target the wrong way around, and I got to it.
Wow.
So I mean, it's that kind of work, and it's boring when you're looking at John le Carre books or James Bond, or it's not high tech. It's just using your noggin and doing what you got to do. What's the next step?
So this is the question I have, though, is like, if people are aware of what you're trying to do, like it's not like your identity is like hidden, I guess.
Oh,
right?
no, they knew who I was.
They knew who you were. They kind of know what you're trying to do, I guess.
Well, they know exactly what my mission was.
So
In those days, like in the years before I showed up, like all of our era showed up, they used to use cover. So I remember one of my warrant officers, intelligence warrant officers, he went over to one of those countries as an administration clerk.
Yeah.
Didn't wear any intelligence accoutrements, or it was administration. So that was his job.
Right.
And but then after a while, it was basically, come on, guys, we know what everyone's doing. So we got to wear all our intelligence badges, uniforms, and they knew exactly what we did. So it was no messing around with them. They knew. So that was part of the job, and we had to deal with that.
So I think we're going to wrap up here first, but I mean, I do really want to just ask you one more question about the book before we do our 10 questions. That's kind of the fun part of our show. We ask some silly questions. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you, like, what do you hope people get out of reading this book?
It's
You might have to go into your mic because it's a little loud in here now. The party has begun at the Quinn's Arm, which is, we are running a little late here tonight, which is okay, but if you lean into your mic, we'll be fine.
Basically, for me, it was a cathartic thing because of my PTSD. It was pretty severe.
Yeah.
Look, when I started to write, it was just to release and face some of my demons that I had. And in the process, there are a lot of times I was writing, I stopped writing and started crying. You know, especially with Afghanistan.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, I try to keep it straightforward without none of that emotional stuff in, but just to share what I thought. And what I'm hoping that the reader will get out of it is an understanding of what military intelligence, operator is, what we do in the Canadian military as intelligence people. It's not about fancy suits and guns and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's people that are wearing, combat uniforms and regular work in offices. They go out in the field and they
put
do
their lives on the line and still put themselves through a lot of mental anguish and everything else. They play a real toll.
That guy that was my partner, he was so untrained. My colonel, I first got on the ground, it was after the first NATO meeting. He said, I hooked you up with that guy from that country. Yeah. He says, they're not trained. Okay. He says, you're going to have to train them on the run, on the road as you go. Wow. Thanks, sir. And and that guy put my life in danger several times. In fact, at the quarry, we almost got shot because of this idiot. Didn't even have the skills of a Boy Scout. We got there, and I'm going along the tree line in the foliage, and I'm hiding, and I'm just going over this crest, and I'm approaching it so that eventually my eyes start to get over the crest line.
Yeah.
Now I can see, so maybe only this part of my head is showing, but I can see everything, but I'm in the bushes. So I take my pictures.
Right.
Armed soldiers everywhere. Something's going on, and I have no idea. So the analysts would have to figure that out.
Right.
There was a guard shack across from us, and so I thought, okay, I took pictures. This was an opportune target.
Yeah.
And so I go back to the SUV, and I tell Buddy, I said, okay, just what I saw. Go over and take some pictures. He was supposed to watch me and learn from me. Nope, didn't happen. I'm putting my camera away in the bag, and I happen to look over, and there he is, the middle of the fucking road, up to his waist above the crest line, and he's looking, and he's going...
Okay, this guy sounds like he should be in a comedic movie with you. Like I see a good comedy here for a Cold War movie.
So anyway, I didn't want to yell so that people might hear me.
Yeah.
So I run up to him and I grab him by the coattail and I pull him back. And as I'm pulling him away, there's a guy who just stepped out of a shack. He's pointing at us and he levels his AK at us.
Right.
And I'm going, let's get the fuck out of here.
I would say.
We go into the truck and boogie.
I have to ask, did you keep in touch with his partner?
Fuck no.
Too bad. I'd like to see if he stood. I'd like to see if he made it through the rest of his life.
I don't know.
without
It
you.
was.
It sounds like you helped him a lot through a few predicaments there.
He didn't go on another job with me. His partner did. His other sergeant in his unit. He was a bit more level-headed, common sense.
Yeah.
He didn't get training either, but he was easier to work with.
I have another question. Matt might too, I'm not sure. But one of the ones I wanted to ask before I get into our 10 questions is more of our fun bit. Like, fast forward to 2020, what, 6? Is that where we're in?
Yeah,
26?
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
Have another beer.
Like, what would your intelligence mind be the most fearful about today, or this year happening, with everything going on in the world through, Iran and this new war that's kind of brewing?
There are a lot of my old colleagues that are out in the open and talking about what they see and doing analysis of what's going on an unclassified level.
Yeah.
It's just years and years of training and stuff they know, and they know how to interpret what they see.
Right.
And so they give their 2 cents worth. And we are all on the same page that what the United States did is by far the dumbest thing anyone's ever seen in this freaking planet, ever. And it's put everybody in danger. So we basically all agree on that part. The only thing that we, like everybody else that's out there, wonders when's it going to stop and who's going to stop that guy.
Right.
Because that's the only way you can stop this is like getting that guy out of there. And no one wants to seem to want to get him out of office. So it's like, for all of us, all we're doing is watching, watch, wait.
Yeah, and it's not political at this point. It just seems to be more of an issue with the man on top. It's just I don't understand why.
We look at the what ifs. Like, it has a lot to do with the man on top and what he's doing and putting everyone's existence in danger. But it's also about, if this happened, it might trigger this. If that happens, triggers this. If that's triggered and that's triggered, holy shit. It just dominoes. And so all of my old colleagues and I, we all look at it that way. Yeah. And everyone's got their opinion. But is it correct? Well, we don't know because we're not privy to classified information, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But it is dangerous for now, how the world is going. And I don't think anyone has the answer on how it's going to stop right now.
Yeah.
How is it going to end? We don't know. Hopefully, the bomb doesn't go off. Hopefully. You got, Nostradamus said there would be a Armageddon in that region. And what are we looking at right now? The Middle East, Israel, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, all those places, Gaza, it's like leveled. It's just in uproar. Now you're looking at Iran, Gulf of Hormuz, all that stuff. Everyone's throwing bombs in every direction. You're going, fuck, there's people dying everywhere. And you're going, is this Armageddon?
Yeah.
And that's the question you're going to be left with. Is this Armageddon? Was Nostradamus correct?
Yeah.
It probably feels like it to people over there. Right?
Oh, it probably does. Yeah, they don't know which way to turn anymore. That's the terrible thing for them. You feel bad for them. It's not like going to Afghanistan where you had a definite bad guy. Who was hurting people, and you wanted to stop that bad guy.
Right.
It's quite complicated.
Now, the bad guys are, it used to be the good guys.
It's confusing.
It's like, what that, Israelis, the Americans, nobody wants to touch them, Europe. Nobody wants to talk to these guys going, no, you got to stop this. And then
it probably shuts down intelligence, eh?
What?
It probably shuts down intelligence, like sharing of intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes, there has been that, of course, but the Europeans and us, we still have open minds. Australia, New Zealand, England, and us, we still have that communication, and we're probably forming new open lines of communication with other countries in Europe that we're starting to become more friendly with. But now everyone's starting to leave the Americans out.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Can
like,
you blame it
no,
though? Because
it's like
just
you don't know what he's going to do with that. He attacks
Right.
the Pope.
Yeah,
Man, who the hell does that?
you want a stable partner, right? At the end of the day,
Jesus, he's far from stable, that's for sure. But you know, just to finish off on the question, say what kind of psychological, psychology is a person for this job? Mm-hmm. It is to want to do the best you can. You know, you go in and you're learning stuff and you're drilled from the beginning. The job you do is to protect soldiers.
Right.
You need to give the commander everything he needs so he can make the right decisions that will mitigate lives and have a successful mission. You know, and that's the whole thing. It's like it's opposite of what Trump's doing.
Yeah.
They're just going in there and they don't give a hell about plans or if I do this, how many people are going to die. No, that was our job. We had to tell the commander, these are the dangers. These are the things that you need to consider. In the end, it's him who makes the decision.
Yeah.
Not you. You give him the information.
Right.
So,
but you help them make calculated
but that's
decisions.
our job. So he can walk away and go, okay, thank you, because he gets advice from other people too.
100%. Yeah.
Not just us.
Yeah.
So it's to help them. Now, an intelligence operator has to be able to just do the goddamn job. Don't feel sad or hurt because the commander didn't take your piece of advice.
Right.
Get over it.
And you're just sharing information and intel for another mind to really
it's just
resolve.
get over it.
Yep.
That's his decision to make. You know, and that's not yours to make. So that happens. It happened to me in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing once you embrace something and then you got to turn it over to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you don't like that person. He's going to mess up all the work we did.
Seriously, that's the
but
truth.
that's the feeling you have.
Yeah.
And that's another psychological aspect of, being professional. You have to learn to be professional and let things go.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, the more I listen to you, the more I want to keep getting more stories and keep getting more.
We'll have a beer over there after.
Well, yeah. It is crazy here now, though. It's really popped off.
It's busy.
I think we should still do our 10 questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm going to read the book. Maybe I'll read the book to get more stories. And again, Operator 230, it's out now. Anybody can check it out.
Sherry.
That's right.
We'll both get a copy, yeah. So let's jump into our 10 questions. Matt, you can kick them off if you want.
All right, sure.
All right.
So question number 1. So if you had to pick, are spies more like ninjas or librarians?
These are dumb questions, by the way. So
That's fine. It's
jump
funny.
in. Yeah.
More like librarians by and large.
Okay. That's good.
For the most part.
I was hoping you would say that, actually. Over you. Question
Okay.
number 2.
And these are kind of spy themed, okay? So how many times in your career did you dramatically have to hang up a phone? Like,
Never.
never?
No, never. I never got anybody on the line if they were really angry and yelling.
Yep.
Just hold it away. They'll wait till they're done, and then you hear that. Are you still there? Yeah, I'm still here.
Right.
and
Stay calm,
then they
cool.
calm down.
Very cool. Yeah.
All right. Question number 3. So the paranoia of constantly being followed or recorded, does that stick with you, even to this day?
Yeah, it drives my wife crazy. I'll walk down the street, we could walk down the street tonight,
Yeah.
go to Canadian Tire.
Which we won't, because we've already had all these conversations now. I'd be scared to walk down the street with you, but that's okay.
We could walk down.
Yeah.
And we're all chatting.
Yeah.
But this guy, I watch. And I'll tell her sometimes we'll be on the street, that's the 3rd time that car drove by us. Well, stop it, will you? That's not, no, it's not true. Yeah, it is. Same car, same guy in the friggin' driver's seat, wearing a ball cap, beard. Yep, same guy. And in fact, I got his last 3 numbers on his plate the last time I went to him. And she'll go, why do you do that? I don't know, it's just in me. It's just something I do. And when I had a school,
I know some guys who smoke pot who had that same problem.
When I taught my students, Hapkido students, these are part of the survival things you teach them.
Yeah.
Be observant. Watch. If you see something odd, memorize it. If someone's looking at you kind of oddly, memorize that face because you're going to see him again. and if you memorize it and you see him again, you know he's up to no good. And that'll cause you to make decisions like turn left, exit, stage left, that kind of thing. And it's going to make you make decisions that might make a difference in your survival.
Mike, it's not good for my brain, me hearing this. I think we should move on to the next question.
Question number 4.
What is one thing that you think every person should carry with them?
Pocket knife.
Pocket knife.
Yeah.
Yeah? Nice.
Well, there you go.
I only use it to cut boxes open.
Amazing.
But it's there. I've had it for years.
Yeah. 151 episodes. First time a knife is pulled out on the show. This is pretty cool. It's a cool moment.
Give me your beer. And, it's just, that's the thing. It just gives me comfort.
Yeah.
Only, not because I need it for defense. I don't need a weapon for defense.
Yeah.
I never did.
No.
But it's just, I use it. It's a utility knife for me. It's just all it is.
Perfect.
Question number 5. So if you were hiding a secret for someone here at the Quinn's Arm Pub, where would you place it?
We got to describe to me what it is.
Maybe
Hiding a secret.
note for somebody.
A note, secret note with secret code on it.
Yeah.
Sure.
To break into the Royal
If
Bank.
you look around
the
this
Royal
place,
Bank
there's some
vault to
cool
get their
spots.
money.
There's a boat behind you. There's a monkey, a golden monkey holding a light bulb behind you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
someone might say you might put it in behind a picture.
Yeah.
Like if they pull away from the wall,
Okay.
there might be a ledge put in the back or against the wall and say it's back there. Hopefully it doesn't fall back.
Right.
It doesn't fall. But I mean, there's a lot of places where you could put it. Some people say, behind a radiator. Nah, it's going to fall to the floor. But behind a picture, maybe. Cool.
Right.
Under a cushion, if they lift.
Yeah. Question number 6.
Okay, so you've kind of alluded to some of these stories already in today's episode. If you were compromised and had to leave North America quickly to escape, which country would you flee to and why?
I'd pick either Norway or Australia.
Oh, okay.
I know people in Norway, but Australia is always kind of, it's exotic and all this. I know they have winters and our summers, but
It's kind of like Canada.
still-
It's
yeah,
like
Australia's kind of like the south of Canada, Canada South.
the opposite.
Yeah, love it. Good answer.
Question number 7. So what is one thing about being an operative that you actually didn't like?
There was the time when, I think it's a story you're alluding to, in Warsaw where that visa clerk was compromised
Yes.
by a secret policeman.
This is a story you told me before that kind of got you on this show, really, because it was a cool story. Yeah.
I think that's...
It's in the book.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think because I had to, quote-unquote, interrogate her,
Yeah.
I didn't want to make it sound like I was going to pull her guts out, but I wanted to get answers, and so I had to have a special approach. So I didn't really scare her because she was giving me the body language that she was afraid.
Right. Yeah.
She'd protect her gut. She'd do different things, and she'd look away when she went to answer. And and they were not hard questions. They were things like, so this guy picked her up at a bus stop.
Yeah.
And you don't want to. I mean, as an interrogator, I would say, "Why did you get in the car?"
Right.
That sounds attacking.
Sure.
But because I was already trained as a counselor, believe it or not, you don't ask those questions. You say things like, so what made you think it was okay to get into that car? Same question, worded different.
Yeah.
Right.
And you get the same answer.
Why do you think it was safe?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So it's just, so the hard thing was I didn't want to make her feel like I was interrogating her.
Right.
And it got to a point where I did ask a question, and the first secretary was there. He stopped it. Because now we're starting to talk about the secret policeman. He was a major in the secret police. And so that was part of my book in the story, in the chapter. And, he didn't want to talk about it, so he dismissed her and said, okay, fine. What triggered me to get this line with her was I'm not going to tell you what happened before that. Secret policeman chased her, and
Sure.
all that's it's in the book.
Yeah.
And so we kind of lost track of her. I told her to go fix, refresh herself and freshen up and that. And first secretary and I went up to his office. We couldn't find her. So it was like, where is she? So we sat there, and then she shows up at the door with a knock, knock, knock. She had a sheet of paper in her hand.
Right.
And I see the paper. My interrogator brain started right away to come to work. And she said, I thought I would write up what happened tonight and give it to you. So as an interrogator, I go, nobody asked you to do that. Why are you doing that? What compelled you to do that? Right. So right away I started thinking that she's trying to not hide something, but to kind of soften things over, smooth things over, and try to distract us from what happened. But in the end, I know exactly what happened. I investigated this at my level, and I didn't like what I was seeing. But in the end, in my report to Foreign Affairs, I basically said, you know what, this isn't any of her fault. She was a single person, put in a communist country, and it went against the regulations of the Foreign Service. She was already in Beijing. You cannot cross-post someone from one communist country to another, a single person. They have to go home to rest and, whatever. And so they did that. So they put her in that position.
Okay.
So she was vulnerable. She was lonely. She was not a bad-looking girl. I mean, she, attractive enough. Okay. But they targeted her because she was, remember I said earlier, they knew her weakness. She was lonely, and she was alone. And the person that started compromising her was the embassy receptionist. She saw everyone who come into the embassy. She knows everyone. She takes notes, and she would go out to lunch with her.
Wow.
No fraternization, because she broke the rule. So now she was a bit of afraid of getting in trouble for that. So that I didn't like that, putting her in that spot.
It's a good answer.
It was just like, but I had to do my job. I had to do what I had to do.
That's a tough part of the job, for sure. And you're working sometimes with good people.
So when I submitted my report, it wasn't even typed up. It was handwritten, foolscap, 12 pages. But I got called in for debriefs a few months later, and to Ottawa, and the head of the Secret Service Foreign Affairs and his partner had me down, and there was my report in a folder, and he said, we have some questions to ask you if you don't mind. I said, no, go ahead. So it was about that incident. So, I tried to make it, like in the book I say, respect for her. She didn't buckle. She stood her ground. She got caught in a situation, and she, as far as I know, never said anything. They were looking for names of people, Polish people applying for visas. So that's when the wall came down.
Right. Okay.
And they were looking to see who was going. So she didn't give in at all. So for me, I said respect that she did the right thing. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but that had to be the hardest thing in my career that I did, was to look at another Canadian, and there's no way I was going to be compromised, because to me, it's the lowest fucking thing you can do to your country. The worst. To do that.
Yeah.
That's why I told my wife, if ever I got caught, I'd report myself. And if I got punished, whatever it was, fine. It's better to be a person who fucked up.
Right.
Like, got divorced because he had an affair or whatever.
Yeah.
It's quite another thing to be branded a traitor.
Take down your country because you're trying to protect it.
And you'll never be able to live that down or get over it.
Yeah.
But being divorced because you were an idiot, you had an affair, eventually that goes away.
Yeah.
Question number 8. Yep.
Me or you? I forget. You. Okay. What's the theme song of your new book?
Theme song.
You gotta give yourself a theme song. Operator 230. What's the theme song of this book, Mike? You didn't think of this?
I never thought of anything like that.
Gosh,
get out of here.
Pick a good song. Maybe a song you like from the time.
How about the SS Minnow? The freaking.
Okay. Well, sorry, elaborate. What's the SS Minnow?
You know, here's the tale about a ship.
Oh,
okay.
Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, Gilligan's
Island. Okay, right on.
I mean, it has nothing to do with intelligence, but it's silly.
Yeah.
So
Oh, we'll take it. Good answer.
the book isn't silly; it's serious.
But yeah,
But I mean, you got to have some little bit of lightheart.
little bit of fun to it. I like the
second book will have some lighthearted stuff.
nice.
But
So you already got second book.
it's already look. A lot of the stuff in this book,
Yeah,
I had to cut out.
yeah.
I had to cut out tons of it.
It's over
So-
200 pages long. I
Yeah,
believe,
so
right?
now
Yeah.
I got more stories I can tell.
Cool.
Some of them are funny.
Good.
Like when I stuffed this one guy's every freaking pocket of his combats, every pocket, even the secret one.
Oh,
It's paper towel, stuffed it full. And his boots, toe boots, I didn't just put one wad of paper. I put 3 wads of paper in each toe. So that when he thought he had one out, there was another one. And he'd get mad and angry. And he'd go out, another one. Fuck, we did this. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those things to teach him a lesson,
Right on.
a soldier's lesson.
There you
That's
go.
it.
Question number 9, Matt.
question number 9. So after years of living in a world where you couldn't fully trust people, do you think that like you've lost that ability to like trust people, like even people close to you, or do you think that you've managed to get over that?
Well, I'll tell you this, as a native man, I've always taken people for who they are. You present yourself to me in a certain way,
Yeah.
that's who you are. That's who you are. And then when you start to take little ticks away from that, who I think you are, then you have my attention. Now I start to look at, why did he say that?
Right.
What made him say that? What made him do that? Now, it's not about...
So are you on to Matt yet? 'Cause he's, yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like I don't trust people.
Right.
I take them at face value for who they are.
Sure.
You know, even when I used to get new soldiers in my unit,
Yeah.
and their old boss would call me and give them a heads up. Oh, this guy, you know, is back here, and I go, yeah, okay. I'll be the judge of that.
Sure.
You know, it's
Yeah.
because he's here, he's new, he's my guy. I'll be the judge of.
You're going to figure him out.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and he's probably really good.
So it sounds like
It's
you
just
give
that
trust first.
it's just that the other
really.
guy probably is a bad boss. So, you know, but
Yeah.
I take people for who they are.
Yep.
And when they start to do things that are kind of questionable,
Mm-hmm.
then I will start to give them a second look. There's an old proverb, an old native proverb, and it fits. Always look twice at the man with 2 faces.
Okay, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you follow that and you say, okay, I see you there, and then you start seeing behavior that's a little different,
Right.
opposite, that's 2 faces. So you gotta look at them, and then you can judge whether you want to hang out some more with them. It's not a matter of losing trust, but is this the kind of person you want to be friends with? You want to
Right.
share your thoughts and whatever else.
Because it could be used against you.
It could be used against you.
Yeah.
So you kind of, you know. So from that basis, I'm guilty of not having many friends, only because
You find a lot of people have that second face, or most people? Or would you say it's only... I don't know. I'm just curious. Do you think it's a majority or minority that would have...
Mostly, there's not that many people that have that two-face approach.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere, and you know probably a handful of them. You probably know a bunch
Sure.
yourself.
Yeah.
People that have two-face, and you go, fucking guy, you know.
Right.
But, and you decide whether you want to hang out with him or not, or just stop being friends. But for the most part, you know, I can't relate to a lot of people because a lot of people never walk the same road I did.
Sure.
So I remember years ago, before I went to Poland, I went to visit a school chum from my elementary school days.
Right.
We were chums since grade 1. He died earlier this last year, but God rest his soul. But,
Yep.
you know, I went to see him, his wife. When I was on leave, a single guy, we used to go on tobogganing down the hills together, just having a blast.
Right.
So now he had a wife and he had a kid, and I went to visit him with my wife, and I got to tell you, the atmosphere in that room was dead. there was no way I could tell fairly quickly that we had nothing in common. And when he asked me about my military life and where we'd been serving and stuff, he was only being polite, and he didn't care.
Right.
And and he was an architect. And
The whole world view is completely different.
We were opposite ends.
Yeah.
And nothing bad was said. But when I left, I turned to my wife and I said, "We're not going to be friends anymore. It's just nothing in common."
Yeah.
So he didn't do anything bad.
Sure.
He was a good guy. He was honest, straight faced.
Yeah.
Just
I'm going to say to you as a friend is I'm always direct and honest to a fault. So, I mean, I would challenge you to be more open to people that you have nothing in common with.
Well,
because that's a different thing than two-face,
you're right.
Like two-face, I get why you don't want those people in your life, but man, from doing this show and from meeting, so I mean, you and I have nothing in common, but I've learned countless things today that I'll probably take with me for the rest of my life.
This is the sort of conversation we had because it is a conversation over a mic.
Sure.
We could talk sports.
Yeah.
We could do all kinds of stuff. And I do know a lot of people, like went to Lawrence Conrad's thing.
Yeah.
I met some new people there. And but, that was it.
Right.
It's like no one had any more contact after that. It was like...
Well, you and I did. We're doing it right now.
I know we're doing it, but, there's a real estate guy. They talk, I went to talk with them. They're talking about these big sales they had in the market, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were nice guys. It's just a different world.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's only because it's a different world that it's hard to find someone you can be compatible with. Look, even my Hapkido school, I ran my school for 12 years or so.
Yeah.
I had a lot of students, a lot of black belts go through, and we were very good friends in the school.
Right. But it just didn't translate outside of that, eh?
No.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I mean, I was always open.
Yeah.
I was always open to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple I did go out with. Like he died there late last year, some disease. But he was more my age, and because he was closer to my age, and I won't hold him against him. He was Air Force, but we got along okay, and off and on we run into each other, shoot the shit, that kind of thing. But outside of that, if people don't have the same outlook. It's not that they're bad people. It's just that, they don't get it. They don't get where I came from. So I can't.
I get it, but
it's like you said earlier. How much do I tell people what I do?
Right.
Well, I can tell stories like we did tonight.
Sure.
And everyone has a laugh. It's over a beer. Oh, it's funny.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing more after that.
Yeah.
Fournier gave us all we wanted to know on entertainment. That's it. See ya. So I'm used to that kind of a thing. And, I've never been invited to people's cottages for the weekend or, to go fishing. I can go fishing and teach them a thing or two.
I'm sure you could.
Yeah. On the SAS course, we went to a pond. We were supposed to catch fish with our little hook and line.
Yeah.
We go to the pond, my group and I'm looking at it, and I told the boss, I call him boss, and I said, there's no fish in that water. What are you talking about? They would send us here to get fish. Telling you there's no fish in the water.
Yeah.
How do you know? Well, I said, see any birds? No birds. He goes, they all look around. They go, no birds. See, if there were fish in the water, there would be those little bugs that float on the water for the fish to eat and the birds to eat. No bugs in the water.
Right.
And it was dead. Calm. And so they go, they didn't believe me. So we walked a little ways along the shore, and there's these two civilians.
Yeah.
These beautiful black graphite rods sitting in a graphite stand in the water, and lines are out. They're in a camper van. We're walking up. One of my guys in my group asked them for a smoke. Yeah, the smoke started shooting the shit.
Yeah.
So, after a while, I asked, excuse me, I said, how long you been here? Oh, we've been here since yesterday afternoon. Yeah, okay. Did you catch any fish? Not a one. Not a bite. Nothing.
Right.
And I looked over at the boss. See?
There you go.
I tell you. So
I mean, yeah, you have wisdom to share. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you have a lot of good qualities. I think you'd be surprised. I think, like you and I, though we've walked very different paths, we probably both kind of want the same thing for the world at the end of the day, right?
I think it comes down to, I want friendship as much as anybody else does.
Sure, yeah.
And admittedly, it's a little hard for me to find a friend.
Yeah.
Because maybe I do put up a facade that, look, that guy's not very funny. It's like, look at the face on that guy. And they don't want to be friends with me. So,
Sure.
So I'm not open, like you said, willing to be open.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple as that.
Yeah.
But, as much as I do have a laugh at people, shoot the shit.
Yeah. You just don't feel that
on the street and all that. It doesn't come back as, hey, let's go have a coffee together.
Right. Yeah.
It's dead right there when we go our separate ways. So that's an unfortunate thing, and it's been like that for me since I left high school, since I joined the military.
Really? Yeah.
I mean, when I was first in the Navy, I had lots of friends. I had friends coming out of my ears, and I had my share of fights. I fought with everybody that wanted to fight with me, to challenge me. I mean, I'm telling you, I fought. Look, a guy smashed me in the face with a beer can one time.
Doesn't sound like a friend to me.
Yeah, but we're all messmates.
I know. Yeah.
And he'd defend me as quickly as
Sure.
But he didn't like me, and he was an older guy, about 32. I was like 18.
Yeah.
And he smoked me with a freaking beer can. Bang! Side of the head. Boom! I fell against some lockers on one knee, and everything was black. All I could see was stars flashing.
Right.
And I had my hand up, and I was ready, and I could hear him talk. He's, get up, you little wahoo, I'm going to teach you a lesson, blah. And I could hear him talk. My missile right up to his face, caught him right in the mouth. He went down, bang. I still couldn't see, so I jumped on top of him and I started pounding the shit out of him. And it was a tight mess, very small area, not much bigger than this, and everyone's pulling each other off. So he challenged me. So I'll meet you on the jetty, right there. So that was the kind of world I lived in, and I had buddies, I had friends. We'd go ashore, get drunk, we'd get lost, we'd get in trouble.
Sure.
In Italy, we got into bar fights, stuff like that. It was just stuff. Once I moved over to intelligence, I was already married, so it's not my wife's fault.
I have a recommendation for this friendship problem.
But,
start a podcast, okay? we make a new friend every week. We really do. We're getting good at it. New voice. We learn somebody's perspective every week. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but I think once I went into the intelligence world, I learned...
You might have just kind of kept your circle tight.
That was your world,
probably.
Your nature.
Yeah. And that's a huge, long career, right? Yeah. And that probably really suppressed a lot of those friendships. And also raising families. I think a lot of people naturally lose a lot of their friends too. So.
I think there's a lot of people, when you tell them I was with intelligence, they go, okay. You could see the little gear wheel turn and shift gears. Okay. It's just, it's not conducive to, look, I think I know, I could say without contradiction.
Yep.
A lot of my old colleagues of my era, a lot of the friends they have are old colleagues from our era.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Because you could sit, I don't have anybody like that here. So I'm pretty much isolated. They could be in Kingston or Toronto or Ottawa having a barbecue, shooting a beer, and talk about old times or talk about that guy they hated.
Right. Yeah.
I don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
Sunday I had supper with two of my old friends from EW Squadron.
Oh, nice.
And I realized when they were sharing with me their difficulties they had after they came back, I wasn't imagining things for me. I was experiencing the same thing they did. And what they told me sort of validated a lot of what I went through,
I mean, this is also really good information. Is any of this in your book about like the personal, struggles outside of this fascinating career? Like,
no, not really.
No?
There's a mention of it. There's but not what I just.
I mean, and I'm speaking honestly. I do entertain you, write a little bit about that and share some of that, because I think that's useful too.
Agreed.
And I'm sure that other people listening to it would feel a little less alone when they heard it. Because
100%.
I mean, honestly, you're not the only man in the world that probably feels like he has no friends.
And you don't have to have been a soldier to experience the things to feel that way.
Yeah.
It's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people who are struggling with things. They lost a son in a terrible car accident last year, and they're still struggling with that kind of thing. So there's a lot of people that are struggling.
Yes.
My struggle's a little bit different.
Everyone's struggle is a little different.
And how I deal with it is a little bit different. But as a soldier, as an intelligence operator, I came back in to serve in Afghanistan because I wanted to do more because I could. And so I did. It wasn't because I was Joe Hero. It was, it was a global TV news piece. They were interviewing General Hillier, CDS at the time. And they asked, he was talking about the training. They were in Petawawa or Gagetown, wherever they were. And the interviewer asked, what more do you think you'd need to help you with the mission? And he looked right at the camera and he said, I would love if the people who recently retired or released from the military would come back. That would help us a lot. It would help the families back home and all that. And I'm looking at him, he's talking to me. Basically. It was like, holy shit. So
you went back?
So I went back in. And I did my time. I was with everybody in the sandbox, and we did our thing. I came back home, and nothing was the same after that. I already had PTSD from Poland. I was already assessed for that. I didn't do some very good things that kind of got me in trouble, and I ended up going to the hospital and got assessed. Then there was going to Afghanistan. I went through 2 interviews.
Yeah. Wow.
The second time they said, oh, yeah, we just got your file from Ottawa. Brushed the dust off of it. And it was... when I lost it, when I tried to run a secret policeman off the road with my car, that was the only James Bond moment I had in my career.
Right.
Yeah. He pissed me off.
Pissed you off, yeah.
I looked at him, and I smiled.
Yeah.
Fucking grin. And away I went, drove right into him. I was looking at getting him in the oncoming traffic, and he controlled his car.
Yeah, and that's their whole job. They want to break you like that, right?
And so that's what ended up sending me home early.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
PTSD from that whole, my family in danger, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then Afghanistan, what we went through, that's hit me again really bad. So, writing this book was cathartic in that way. That got me to share things and say things.
Absolutely.
For people. I never did go as deep as you suggested with how I felt. There was a point where I thought I might. Then I thought, don't be such a wuss. That's it.
I think people would relate to it. Other soldiers, certainly.
Other soldiers and people to understand the soldier's life a little bit better. I mean, it's an incredible thing to take your country and work to save your country and to have to protect your family in the process and to think of integrity over being compromised and the crazy stuff you went through, man. That's not a little harder than my 9 to 5, right?
Seriously.
And be sure to read about the femme fatale of Warsaw.
That's the first story you told me, dude.
Yeah, so she was something else.
We won't talk about it today because we went on. I don't want this to go on too long, but Matt, why don't we just go to our quote? How's that?
Yeah,
and
sounds good.
Let's see.
I will write about that. I will put it in the second book about the little deeper feelings.
I really think so because it shares a lot more, and
it'll take me about 2 months to rework it and rewrite it. And
I'm sorry.
It. No, I mean to get the message across. It doesn't sound. Just to say what it is. That's how I write.
Cool. Yeah, writing's a hell of a challenge, but it's a rewarding one, right? Yeah. I'm sure you're proud when this book got out. So
it really took me over 3 years to write the damn thing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Clean it up, change it, fix it, grammar, edit.
Last question, my friend.
All right,
life advice.
So if there was any advice that you were given in your life that you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear it.
That I was given in my life?
Yeah, some advice that you were given
that you want to pass down.
Pass on.
You've already passed down a ton of wisdom in this episode, but one more.
One of the things is simple, and it's I think people in my generation heard it many, many times, and it's just something that disappeared. It was always something like my dad would say to me, never put off till tomorrow what you can do today.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You know, because it'll never get done.
Yeah.
You know, you always
May
put
never
it
get
off,
done.
put it off.
That was the
So-
spy movie, Tomorrow Never Comes, James Bond.
Yes, it
there you
was.
go, right? Yeah.
I think that's the one where he pulled a big wad of rope out from behind a rock in that volcano, and he's in a suit, and you're going, where the fuck did he get that?
It might have been one of the old Sean Connery. Those are awesome to watch still, by the way. If
Yeah.
you go back,
They were so funny.
I just watched them the other year, and they were fantastic. They're all redone in HD.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Mike.
Cheers to you, Mike.
This was great.
Thanks
Check out
for
the
your
book.
time.
We got to get
And,
some more.
Yeah,
Seriously,
that's
yeah,
right.
empty.
But when the second book gets done, we do welcome you back for
Yeah,
another round.
it'll be,
We'd love to have
it'll
that
be next
conversation
year this
again.
time.
Perfect.
I
Let
just
us know.
got to put all the stuff, pull it in from where I got it,
Yep.
and just kind of put it in order and just kind of fix it up.
We look forward to it, Mike. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you
Cheers.
for having me.